Hi, everybody. I just want to record a video to talk about how the last week and a half of the class is going to wrap up and what you can do to get prepared for not only the last assessment, but also for the final exam. So let me share my screen. So first of all, let's take a look at our calendar. So here we are today. You're doing standards 11 through 22 reassessments for any areas where you want to improve your scores. And then notice on Thursday, the 13th, is the assessment over standards 23 through 26. And then I will have those graded and back to you by the 14th, but then that's like the last official day of class. However, the next week is finals week. Okay. So you will come in and take a final exam, and notice this is called final exam and standards 23 through 26 reassessment. So I want to go into a little more detail about what to expect on the 19th. And to do that, I'm going to pull up this. Okay. So first of all, a reminder about how the final exam works. This is something that I explained in the orientation videos, but it's been a long time. And of course, at the time you watch that, the final exam was far away and not, top of mind. So we're going to go back over this again. So um, if for standard one going into the final, you had a 2 on that particular standard. And then on the final exam, I ask about that standard and you get a 4, then it operates exactly like just exactly like a reassessment, and your overall score in the class for that standard is going to be a 4. Final exams, though, are not going to include everything. There's not enough time for them to include all the topics from the course. So let's say you have a 3 going into the final, but then on the final, I don't even ask about it. In that case, of course, you'll still have a 3. Let's say I do on standard 3, let's say you had a 4 going into the final, and maybe you just forgot to study this particular topic enough, and I do ask about it on the final exam, and you end up with a 2 on the final. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, this is the one time during the quarter that I am going to average anything. So what I'll do is I'll say, well, you had a 4 going into the final, you got a 2 on the final, so that's going to average out to a 3. Let's say on standard 4, let's say you had a 3 going into the final, and I did ask about it, and you got a 2 on the final exam, then of course, averaging it out would average to a 2.5. Okay. What does that mean? Well, it means that I give you half of a 2, which of course, right, is developing, and half of a 3, right, which is proficient. When I'm tallying up your scores on, for all the different standards to determine your letter grade in the class. Okay. So standards 1 through 22, okay, standards 1 through 22 are fair game for the final. Actually, let me put this down here. Standards 1 through 22 will say could appear on the final. But as I said, not all of them will. Okay. You should expect the final exam itself to take you, somewhere around like an hour 15, hour 20 minutes, okay, for the final exam portion. All right. But traditionally, you're given 2 hours to do a final exam. Okay. So with the other 40 minutes, what I'm going to do is give you the opportunity to reassess on anything that you want to from standards 23 through 26. Okay. Because, you took the assessment for 23 through 26, or you will have taken it on Thursday, but you won't have had an opportunity to reassess on it. Okay. So for these four, you're going to be given a reassessment opportunity. So this is a true reassessment opportunity. If you are happy with your score on 23 through 26, you are going to see those standards in the packet, but you can leave them blank. Okay. Make sure you do everything else, right? Anything from 1 through 22 that shows up, you have to do, right? You have to complete anything from standards 1 through 22. But for 23 through 26, it's your option. Okay. It'll be really clearly marked, right? So the things I'm going to ask from 1 through 22 are going to be in the front. And then you're going to hit a page and it's going to, in bold letters at the top, say, the following is the reassessment for 23 through 26. Only complete these if you want to improve your score. So as long as you're reading instructions, there'll be no way that you'll do the wrong thing. But again, a lot of the standards from 1 through 22 won't show up, but certainly a handful will. Okay. So that's what it's going to look like. This is how the scoring on the final affects your overall score. So it replaces your old score when it's better. If it gets worse, then that's when I average them, as you can see here. All right. And then, of course, after the final exam, I will then be going to our syllabus, and I'll show you that one more time here. I'll be going to our syllabus and using that to determine your letter grade in the class. So I go to this table here, and really at the end of the day, it's based on tallying up how many experts and proficients you have. And then as long as you have enough experts and proficients and not too many of things like novice and that sort of thing, then you'll get a C or better in the class. And I understand that even at the end of the quarter, this table's not the easiest to read. And so I'll just remind you again of the fact that I've got this grade projector provided for you. So here's the grade projector, and you can type in at any point the scores that you have, and then it'll say what what score you're on pace to get based upon all of the scores that you've gotten so far. So I encourage you to use this. And then finally, I just want to remind you that if you look in the grade book, there are 27 standards. And so remember that standard 27, scroll down here, that's the homework completion standard. So there's not actually anything to do. It's just if you've completed 90 to 100% of your homework, you get a 4, 80 to 90, you get a 3, and so on. So it should be, as long as you've been doing the homework, it should be like a free 4 out of the deal for you, is the idea. All right. I will have, going back to the calendar, I will have some student hours where I'm available on the 17th and 18th. There's just nothing there right now because I have to figure out when my other finals are for my face-to-face classes and then schedule accordingly. So I will send you a Canvas message once I know when those times I'll be available will be. All right, please reach out if you have any questions at all about the grading, about the assessment and final exam, and the reassessment opportunity. I guess one last thing I want to make really clear is that the final exam and the reassessment for 23 through 26, they are all in one packet, right? So you need to do them in one sitting, okay? So just to be absolutely clear about that. All right. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.